Hello, and thank you, and welcome to today's webinar on Oracle HCM Cloud Optimization. Page down. My name is Tawana Dyer, and I am the Oracle Alliance Director at Apps Associates. I'm fortunate to be joined today by our own Lisa Inslee, Practice Director at Apps Associates of HCM, and Brandy from Central Park Conservancy. Page down. I know that a lot of you are familiar with Apps Associates, but I do want to give you a quick overview. We were founded in 2002. We have over 875 employees around the world with offices in the United States, India, and Germany. We are recognized as an Oracle to Cloud leader, and we have deep expertise in all things Oracle. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Lisa.
Thanks, Tawana. First, I want to say thank you to Central Park Conservancy's leadership team, the project team, and Brandy, who led the optimization for Central Park, as well as the apps project team in the US and India. To say that we worked through very unusual circumstances is an understatement. From the start of a global pandemic, with New York City being a hotspot, to adapting very quickly to a 100% remote work model in the US and India. There are challenges with every project, but these were once in a lifetime circumstances. So how did we do that? We did it by understanding our teams, by practicing empathy to the changes in their daily lives, and by resilience and pure determination, understanding that we're all people first. So with that, I would like to introduce you to Brandy Varnell-Dewey. Thanks, Brandy.
Thanks so much, Lisa. Thank you all for letting me be with you today. And thank you to the whole apps team for everything that you've brought to our project, to our organization. As you mentioned, it has been a very interesting time to be undertaking, cloud implementation work. But because we had your team by our side, we were able to make a lot of progress while also, as you mentioned, empathetically working with one another and being able to collaborate well. It was really a wonderful match from the get-go. And believe it or not, we kicked off our optimization project with you 1 week before New York City shut down. So it was actually a very interesting time to be doing this work. As you mentioned, I represent Central Park Conservancy. We are tasked with and honored with the care of Central Park. We have about 330 employees that actually manage about 90% of the work of taking care of the park. It's something we're very passionate about. And during the pandemic, we had staff on site at all times and had essentially a full operational staff back in the park by April 26th. So we were back full-time in the park by the end of April. In order to make that happen, there were three kind of key components, I think, to that. The first was agility and being able to, as an HR team and an organization, be agile in how we handled our staff, our protocols. Also, we wanted to make sure that we had safety at the forefront when we had staff reporting. And finally, we wanted to make sure that there was progress. So we wanted to make sure that our staff and our managers felt encouraged and inspired to continue their mission and their work with the Conservancy. And we were able to do that largely in part because of our cloud-based system, our Oracle system, and the work that your team did with us. Next slide. So we took on a very aggressive launch strategy last year when we did our initial implementation, and we launched most of our system last fall. We knew that we wanted to be cloud-based. We knew that we wanted to be mobile-enabled. We had no idea what that would mean for us as an organization until this March, when we essentially became, as you said, 100% remote. Our old system was self-hosted, which would have come with a whole different set of challenges than we had to face. And up until the time of Oracle, essentially our operations teams used communal computer stations to do a lot of the transactions they might need to do. And because we were mobile enabled, we enabled them to safely do that on their own mobile devices. Your team came on board with us, as I mentioned, in March. And your team, we really wanted to bring on board because of your reputation, your deep knowledge of the system, but also your ability to understand best practices and your functional HR knowledge. Every person I met on the apps team that had any sort of HR or system knowledge, even on your sales team, really knew their stuff. And I could have unbelievably detailed conversations with them about the whole process, knowing that they understood where I was coming from. That happened since day one, and it's only continued to grow. What we hired your team to do is to look at the processes and the modules that were already launched, help us address some optimization items we wanted to do, as well as maybe address some gaps in processes that we had found as we had gotten into the system and started using it more. So your team really came along and were able to help us line up our processes, fill in gaps, and also make tweaks to things. We have a number of integrations running. We have integrations with our benefit carriers. We have ADP Data Bridge, and we also are working to optimize a very complex integration with an advanced scheduling tool called Shiftboard. That advanced scheduling tool is also going to be able to provide our staff and managers more flexibility in light of COVID. It's allowed us to do more with how we schedule staff, how we rotate staff, so that we can keep occupancies down and make sure that our staff are reporting to work safely. The other aspect that your team really helped us with was workforce health and safety. You recommended that model to us, and we have yet to launch it, but it is something that we are very passionate about taking on and having someone, within the Conservancy really own those processes so that we can manage, even whether we're in the park or in the offices, our workforce health and safety incidents. The other item that I wanted to talk about that I really do think was unique to our project, and Lisa, I think you'll probably agree with this, is just there's a lot of change management that we're doing as an organization. This was something that we took on prior to COVID, change management with performance, goals, and I cannot tell you how integral your team has been to helping us move the needle forward in the change that we want to see in the organization. What I really love is that despite all these challenges, like you said, we're showing employees and managers that we're invested in them, that we want to continue on this path we started, which is to develop our staff, help them learn and grow as employees, support the managers in the work that they have to do. And we didn't really take a pause on that. And I think that says a lot about the organization. And I think it says a lot about your team, that you didn't pause, that you believe in the work, and that you continue to so fully invest in us as collaborators. I think it can only, work wonders for staff and for employees and, for our most important asset, to see that we all genuinely care about moving things forward in this area.
Good job.
So as I mentioned, one thing that was really critical as we, resumed our operations in the field and also in the office was to make sure that we were able to take into account what people would need to know to return safely. And one aspect of Oracle that we were really able to leverage was the learning module. That's something that the apps team did a number of optimization items with us, from dashboard reporting to optimizing the course catalog and so forth. And with learning, we were able to actually put safety trainings directly into the module and have those distributed to staff. So as staff were returning and wanting to know what they should do with their PPE or what the workplace safety protocols would be when they returned, they were able to, on their mobile device, watch these videos, get familiarized with what the new work environment was going to be. And I really do think that having those tools in place help people as they return to work, help people know that we knew what they were facing, we knew what they needed to have in terms of safety. And I think it provided a bit of security for them to know that was in the forefront of our mind as we return them to work. Also, operationally, another thing that was really helpful is new hire orientation and onboarding. Because we have our benefits in the system, employees were able to get a really great process document, instructional document, and go right in when they were hired to enroll in their benefits. We used to do paper forms, and at times our new hires would drop those off with us. But over the course of COVID, that change management happened very quickly, and we moved very quickly from paper forms to enrollment right in the system. It also, it's great that we've had this cloud-based system so that if anyone has questions, HR can pop in from anywhere and be able to look at people's benefits, answer questions. So it really, really did enable us to operationally become remote, which is something that we really weren't before COVID. Next slide. And, the other thing to point out with the Conservancy is that, our work hasn't stopped from the unveiling of the new statue to a lot of the capital projects that we're doing in the park. Our team of planning, design, and construction, which does landscape architecture and, works with consultants to do buildings and improvements in the park, they've continued working. I mean, we've really, as a team, we haven't stopped. And I think that there's been something really inspiring about that to all of us at the organization. And I hope the apps team feels the same way, because it seemed like every time I met with your team or spoke to your team, I was dealing with kindred spirits in terms of caring about what you do. Everybody really cares there about what they do, and they like what they do. And even in spite of the pandemic, they wanted to do it well. And I think that was motivating for all of us. I think knowing that we all cared so much, it helped us push through, and kids at times in the background and sorting through which room you were going to go in to make things happen was all a part of it. But like Lisa said, it made us all empathetic towards one another. It made us people first. And I do think it's positively affected the project. I think that people first is how you should always look at any HR process or project, and it really shined a light on that for all of us. So it was a blessing in disguise.
Absolutely agree, 100%. Thank you so much, Brandy.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Brandy. That was an amazing story to hear. And I have to say, not only am I thrilled to have our company to have partnered with you guys on this opportunity, and everybody sitting here can understand all of the different products within Oracle HCM Cloud. But anytime I can take the time to learn a little bit new about a customer and their business, I did not know that Central Park did not have a monument in the park up until August for women. So what an exciting fact. So thank you again, Lisa and Brandy, for putting this together for all of everybody to learn from. We never like you to leave one of our webinars without having something that we can do together for you. So we are offering an Oracle HCM Cloud. If it's right for your organization, we'd love to put together a quick benefit, and we have a great consultation offer. You'll have to fill out a bit of a form. It's not going to take you very long at all. You can register for it at the website on there. If you would like to get additional information about Apps Associates, you can and figure out where you're going to fall into your HCM journey, you can see our website there. And then if you want to learn a little bit more about Central Park Conservancy, please go to their website, and I think you'll find a couple hidden gems in there that Brandy didn't allude to. So we look forward to you exploring their site. We would love to partner with you on your cloud offering going into HCM, and we have put together an HCM consultation offer. So again, thank you to Brandy, thank you to Lisa, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Brandy.
Thank
Tawana.
you.